Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome to another episode of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host, who is just Big Les.
Hey, had nothing smart to say today, huh?
Nothing smart to say to my friend. You know,
It's okay.
It's the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I thought about going out with a bang, but I said no.
No. That's
I'm gonna try to be nicer.
That's a trick. That's a trick, ladies and gentlemen. That's a trick. He don't know how to not go out with a bang. That's a trick. I know it'll be something.
It's nothing, man.
No
videos this week.
No videos. Nothing.
No pictures of you running from gorillas.
I'm disappointed.
No pictures of you sitting at Subway eating a foot long.
I'm disappointed. Look, I'm like,
no baby Les pics this week.
No baby Les pics. Nothing,
man. I don't have it in me today.
Okay, all right. Well, I will
have
pick
you ever
on
just,
you, but I just won't do
it. Have you ever just had one of them days, man? It's like you forget your wallet, you're out, you didn't eat breakfast, you're thinking that you're gonna be back real quick. It's like, no big deal, I'll be back home real quick.
Yeah.
And the day just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
And
I don't know what's going on.
And longer and longer.
But yeah, man. It was one of them days today, man, where everything just kept going wrong. And then I left out the house.
Mm-hmm.
I go out about 45 minutes away, go to another town.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm thinking, okay, I'll be back home by noon, right? So didn't eat breakfast, drank some coffee, rolled out.
Yeah.
Got to where I was going. Matter of fact, I didn't even drink my coffee this morning. I left it on the counter. I was going to bring it with me and left it on the counter.
See, yeah, there's first mistake.
Right. So I get to my destination. I don't have my wallet. I'm like, what in the world? I don't have my wallet, right?
Yeah.
I'm there. And next thing I know, it's like 4:00.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm still there.
Wow.
My head is like pounding.
Yeah.
That's why there was no insults today. I have a throbbing headache at this point.
And
all I've had is water.
Yeah.
That's all I've had all day.
That's no good, man. You gotta do something, man. You gotta put some protein in there.
So I get back home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my keys to get into the house.
Man, what's wrong with you today?
I don't know. I have a car for work, so I keep that key separate than my actual car keys, which have the house keys on it.
Yeah.
Right. So
wow.
I don't have a key to get into the house. I opened the garage. Fortunately, my wife pulled up right when I opened the garage up. She pulls up. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is just gonna be one of them days, bro.
Hey man, I tell you, I kind of started my day the same way. I got up super early, but somehow left 20 minutes late.
Oh, man.
I don't even understand it. This morning it was just like I was dragging. Just
yeah.
And I've been where I've been forgetful too. You just forget stuff. And I went out to last week, I went out to the truck. I was like, oh, I forgot that. Came all the way back in the house, got that one thing, came back out in the truck, pulled up 2 feet and was like, oh, I need to go back in the house and grab this. Turn around and go back in the house, grab it. Oh, it's like, what was wrong with you this morning? Why did you come in the house like 3-4 times? I kept forgetting stuff. Normally I pack my bag the night before and I leave it packed. So, in the morning I just grab it and go. Not
Yeah.
this, not that morning. I just couldn't get it together, man.
See, for me, and I think a lot of the Masturbation Nation may have a similar thing where it's a routine, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's got to be in a certain spot for you to grab it.
right,
And if
right.
it's and that's like I have a cubby that I leave my wallet and my keys in.
Mm,
If they're not there,
yeah.
then it throws everything off. Like
Mhm.
yesterday, um, we ran an errand, and then I had to come upstairs real quick. Here,
Yeah,
I left my keys back here on my table behind me on my desk. My wallet is in the bedroom, and it fallen out my pocket. So my wallet was on the floor. So I did, I looked at it all night, you know,
yeah.
but this morning I
Didn't
didn't
think to
grab it,
pick it up.
right? I have a spot where my jewelry is. I have a spot where my watch is. I have a
Yeah,
spot where my phone is. All those things got grabbed, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Keys, wallet did not get grabbed,
Right.
and
I I
it
had the
just threw
same
everything
thing.
off.
It's just a process, man. I leave certain things at the edge of the kitchen counter,
Mhm,
and then there's certain things on my nightstand that I grab from the nightstand and go in the kitchen, get it.
mhm,
Then I go get dressed because I don't get dressed in the room because my wife is asleep.
right,
So I take all of my clothes out into the living room
right,
area, and that's where I get dressed in the mornings. You know, and it's just like
mhm,
I got to keep going back and forth in there. I'm gonna
right.
wake her up.
Yep,
I
yep,
know it. And she's a light sleeper
mhm,
anyway, so I'm like, okay, she knows I'm
yeah,
up, but I'm like, oh, but it is what it
right,
is.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah,
hate it.
it becomes difficult, right, for
Hmm.
especially when you have a spouse and you're not on the same schedule.
Yes. Woo, yeah.
Uh, so it's like she's asleep, you're trying to
Hmm.
tiptoe and get out there. Like I had a point where me and my wife were not on the same schedule
Hmm.
at all, right? And right now we're typically not,
Right.
but it was even worse several years back, right?
Hmm.
And I would get up at like 5 o'clock,
Yeah. That's me
try to
right
get to my
now.
ring. I had to leave out the house at 5:45,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
So she's still asleep through all this. So I'm
Mhm.
trying like tiptoe around,
Yeah.
do everything
That's
I gotta
me.
do, and then get out the
Yeah.
door.
Yep.
Dog. At the time, I used to drive about an hour and some change to work.
That's me
I
right
left out the
now.
house. I got to work. I didn't walked in and sat down at my desk, and I looked down. I got on mismatched shoes, two completely different black shoes.
Oh my God. Did anybody
Yeah, man.
notice? Did anybody notice?
No, no,
No, no.
no. I took them off, and every time I walked around, I was just in my socks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just put them on when it was time to leave. I was like,
See,
forget it.
you couldn't have done me like that because you know what? I would have went and bought two new pair, another pair of black shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get like that too.
I've had the mismatched socks before,
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that.
bro. The most embarrassing one
Mm.
was walking down the aisle and a dryer sheet fall out your leg.
Oh, it's still hanging at the bottom
Yeah,
of your pants.
yeah, yeah.
I've had that happen because you just get up, like I said, I laid my stuff out the night before. I don't
Right.
necessarily unfold it and
Mhm.
but I lay my stuff out. My shower stuff is over here. My clothes is out
Yeah.
there. I get out the shower, I grab the lotion and deodorant, go where I'm going to put clothes on, put clothes on, shoes, socks, belt, everything is already
Mhm.
out there for me to do that.
Right.
And I've walked through, thought I was cool, new shoes on, everything. And
Yeah,
here we go. Got a bounty sheet hanging from the bottom of my pants. You know,
bruh. I'm just thinking back, dog. I had a whole sock fall out my pants, man. You know how you have your wife sit there talk about how do you get undressed,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
your
yeah.
t-shirt be still.
T-shirt and undershirt still together. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, dog.
I went through that. I went through that
Yeah,
phase.
my whole
Yeah.
sock just fell right out, and I left it there too. I didn't even go back to get it. I was so
Yeah, I'd be
embarrassed.
like, I
I
just
just kept
let down.
walking. Like,
It's like
no,
who ghetto self left their sock in the middle of the floor, and I'm just gonna keep on going. I don't know
keep on
whose that
going, bro.
is.
Mm-mm.
Hey, but
Nope.
we all had those moments, man, and it's just life. You know,
Yeah.
it's life. If you don't have them, kudos to you. But
Yeah, right, right.
you
If
know
your
what I'm
stuff is
saying?
all together, but
Yeah,
I'm sure the rest of the Man Space Nation can chime in and
yeah,
know that they didn't have their moments too.
yeah. Kudos to you because I've had some jacked up moments in the morning.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Some mornings it's just be like, I don't even know how I'm gonna go to work this morning. You
yeah,
know,
I know. Yeah.
luckily I
I
was working
know.
from home through a lot of that type stuff.
Hmm.
It's just like,
Right, right,
yeah, yeah, man. Jeez, oh man.
bro. I sat there and working from home a few days ago.
Yeah.
I sat there, was on a conference call, thought my camera was off. My wife comes in the room,
Hmm.
and I'm she's like, "You muted?" And I reached over to make sure I was muted, turned my camera on.
Oh no.
So everybody can see I'm not paying attention to the meeting, right?
Right.
Me and my wife are having a full conversation. At least it was just a conversation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So we're
no
having a
doubt.
full conversation. So they
Hmm.
see I'm off to the side having this
Hmm.
conversation. Then she leaves, and I look down. I'm playing a game on my phone. I'm well entrenched into my phone. And I look over at the screen, and I look the third time. It's, oh crap,
You can see yourself. Yeah.
right.
Hey man, I got the best thing for that. I just pull a piece of little post-it note, and that's what I put over my camera. Because
Yeah.
because you just never know. You know what I
Well,
mean?
see, normally my camera is off,
Yeah,
and
mine too.
I have the little slider, and
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
I slide over the camera, so it's covered. But I had a meeting where I had to have my camera on right
yep,
before this other meeting, so I was on camera for a meeting, and then
yeah.
and I
You
went right into another
got to
meeting.
do the slide back. Yeah.
Forgot to do the slide. Forgot to slide it back and turn the
Mm,
camera. Man,
got to be more careful.
got
But
me. Yep,
that's a
right.
that's a good warning for you. Now I bet you won't
Yeah,
forget for a long time. Now you're like,
I
hold
sure
on, let me
won't.
look.
I sure won't.
Yeah,
Mhm,
because I switched my whole audio setup. I'm no longer
mhm,
going off the audio just to the computer. I gotta
mm.
turn on my audio source, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that way, I don't care if I'm muted. You can't unmute me. You can't do anything because it comes from a different source. But
Mhm.
I promise you, I've been in a meeting where I had the grandkids in the room, and I'm telling them to go do something, and somebody makes the comment, "Oh, you got the grandbabies, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know, you know, you know.
Right.
But it happens, man. It happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. I I think the worst that ever happened to me, I was on a conference call
Hmm.
with a customer, and the customer just pissed me off to high heaven, right? Because I'm telling him he's wrong,
Yeah.
and he wanted this other dude that had like 15 certifications that I did not have
Right. To
to
take a look.
tell him that
Yeah.
he was wrong, because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, he helped me with this configuration, and I'm like, he's wrong too.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't get him on the phone. I've tried 3 times. He will not answer the phone. He's
Uh,
like, he's busy. I can't get him on the phone, but I'm telling you it's wrong. And he's like, it's not wrong. It's something's on you. I'm like, no, it's not my side. Your stuff is wrong.
right.
I'm telling you what's wrong. You need to fix this. And until he tells me to do it, I'm not going to do it. So I sat the phone down. I
Hmm.
stretched out on the floor, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
I ain't going to do nothing else, right? And I fell asleep.
With the open mic?
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
I woke up. My wife
Yeah.
had hung the phone up, right?
Yeah.
I had a list of texts. Is that you?
Oh
Are you
no.
snoring? Wake up. Oh, yeah. I was gone.
Well, I mean, you ain't had nothing to do right now.
Yeah. I'm like, I ain't doing nothing, man. Yeah.
But
Straight went to sleep
you
on
gotta hate when you have those days, man, that you're just that wiped out. You know what I
it.
mean?
Hmm.
And it just puts you down anywhere. You
Right.
get 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie to
Yeah.
you. Today, I got 5 minutes. The wife was like, "You gonna take a nap before?" I was like, "Yeah." I was
Hmm.
like, "Just make sure you wake me up." you know, don't
Yeah.
let me just lay here
Yeah.
and
Right.
get to sleeping. And I luckily I put my AirPods in, so he
Mhm.
woke me up. But I was
Mm.
groggy than a mug, though.
Yeah.
I was just
Man.
like, where's my computer? Oh, it's already in there. Where's the
Right.
microphone? You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's already in there.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh God. She was like, you better
Man.
wake up.
Man, I sat there. We talked about season 1 of this when it came out.
Yeah.
Season 2 of the Arnold Schwarzenegger series, Fubar.
Fubar. I didn't watch season two.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
watch
I
it.
binge I binge watched season 2 over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Oh man, I
was it
loved it.
better than season one?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. But you got it if you at least got to see the recap of
Okay.
season 1 to understand season 2,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely if you have not seen season 1, it's 8 episodes season 1, 8 episodes season 2.
Mhm.
Netflix, take a moment and watch those series,
I may
man.
have to watch it.
It's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
FUBAR. It means effed up beyond repair. You know,
The R could be a couple different things: recognition,
right?
repair,
Reproach. Yeah.
reproach.
Right.
But they
Right.
all fit. They all fit.
They all fit,
Yeah.
man. But it's hilarious. This season is way more out of control than the first season.
Then the first season. Oh, well, I may have to
Yeah,
check it out. I
and
because
Arnold Schwarzenegger is very funny in this.
yeah, because I like to binge watch. I don't
Yeah,
like to just regular watch. You know,
yeah. You know,
series.
and I can see a little bit of us
Yeah.
in him in this because he's kind of the overprotective dad
Oh
in
God.
these series. Yeah, because his daughter's involved,
Yeah.
and his he's trying to protect her,
Mhm,
and he's got his wife, his lady, he's trying to protect her, and yeah, so
mhm.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
He's wrapped into his career. He wants
Gotcha.
to retire, but yeah, it's a lot of us in him, but it's definitely worth watching.
No doubt. I may have to check it out and report back
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely do. Definitely do. Let's jump to a break
All right.
and reset, and we'll jump into the season finale of the Man
Ooh.
Space podcast. Big bro,
Yes, sir.
we're coming off of Father's Day weekend. How was your
Yes.
Father's Day, by the way?
It was pretty good, man. I can't complain, man. I didn't have to cook or cut grass.
Okay, okay,
So there it is. My wife said,
yeah,
"What do you want?" I said, "Steak and potatoes."
yeah,
And she kind of gave me that look. She's like, "Well, I'm not a griller." I said, "That's fine. I want smothered steak. Just
hmm
take those ribeyes.
Okay.
Sear them off,
You hooked them up.
put some gravy on them,
Yeah.
maybe some broccoli and some homemade mashed potatoes, some
Yeah.
shrimp and some bacon crumbles. Man, I was over there asleep at 7 o'clock.
Man.
It was so good, so good. You know,
Yeah. Little Russ took me and Mrs. Russ out to eat.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So, of course, there was nobody in there. You didn't have to make reservations. There was, it
My
was
son,
wide open.
my son-in-law said the same thing. He said, "Man, he was like, remember, because Mother's Day we went to 4 different restaurants.
Right.
Right,
Right.
we drove around for 4 different restaurants. Still had an hour wait at the last one. Right."
Right.
He was
Mhm.
like, "Man, they pulled up. They had their choice. 'Cause they pulled up
Right.
at the restaurant,
Everything's
wasn't
open.
nobody there."
Nobody there. Nobody
Yes.
there. I I came home, right? So uh, we went out of town to meet Little Russ.
Mhm.
Met her halfway between where she lives and where we live. And
Right.
so coming back, I took the back roads back. So I
Mhm.
start passing, some residential areas,
Yeah.
the front yards full, and all you
Yeah.
see is smoke coming up in
And
the
they got the back.
backyards of these different
Yeah.
houses because they at home grilling.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Yeah.
you sitting there cooking your own meal for Father's Day,
Yeah.
and
But
then got to cook for everybody else.
yeah, that's the whole killer part right there.
Yeah.
Is all the fathers gonna be outside manning grills.
Right. Yep.
If it ain't the big dad, it's somebody else's dad out there cooking
Sure
on
is.
the grill. Hey, I refused to turn mine on, but then I said, you know what? I should just be the oddball. I should just go out there and fire mine up, and not put nothing on it, just so people think.
Just so
You
people
know?
think.
Yeah,
Right.
y'all got to get y'all got to get it together, ladies. Y'all got to get together. Y'all got to get together. Y'all got to help us men out. You know.
But speaking of men,
Mhm.
and we are the man space.
We are.
Last week we did the bro code. We revisited the bro code last
Yes,
week.
we did.
Well, this week we're gonna revisit the man code.
The
And see,
man.
we basically told you last week that the man code and the bro code are essentially two different things.
Different. Yeah.
You see, they're both informal sets of rules that are written and shared either humorously or culturally among men
Right.
about how to behave with integrity and loyalty and respect in friendship.
That's right. That's right.
But see, where the bro code and the man code differ is that the man code is a broader set of principles about manhood and
Mm.
honor and respect. Whereas
Yes.
the bro code is that close-knit friendship, the
Mhm.
bromance.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the man code applies to all
Oh
men,
man.
how
Yeah.
doesn't matter how close they are.
Right.
Whereas the bro code is that tight friend group, right?
Mm. Yeah. That is true. That's true. And there are very unique differences, as you
Yeah.
will see.
Yeah. And see, we're going to get into the man code and just note that Man Space Nation, it's tongue in cheek. There, there are some stereotypes in here,
Quite a few, actually.
but you know what? We're going to run with it anyway.
All right. Let's get them. Let's hit them with it.
All right? So the biggest thing as a man code is as a man, you got to be able to handle your responsibilities. A real man takes care of his business, his job, his
Yeah.
family, his commitments.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll agree to that one. 100%. Yeah. That one's on target. Yeah.
Two, never betray your friend's trust. That's similar to the bro code because you
Yeah.
don't betray your friends. But
That's right.
with man code, you don't betray your friend's trust. Loyalty is the cornerstone of respect
Yeah.
amongst men.
Yeah. 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 Unfortunately, in today's climate, though, not very much loyalty out here. Not very much. But
There's true.
Yeah. But hopefully it can change and we can get back to being men.
Right.
You know?
Number 3 is don't date your friend's ex.
Never.
This is a common overlap of the bro code, but it's off limits unless permission is granted.
I wouldn't even want permission.
No,
I'm sorry. That's
no.
just not something I'm gonna do. I know guys have done
It's
it.
like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, me and you are boys, right?
That's right. That's right.
And I start you and Miss Les kicking split up, and I start kicking it with her, and then you come over to the house. I like, hey man, I'm gonna run out, go grab some. Wait a minute, you used to. No,
Yeah, that's
I
all
can't.
right. I
Yeah,
come over and I don't know, and I see you. First time I
yeah,
ask you is, what are you doing here?
right,
Second is I'm going ahead and going to turn around and going on back where I came from. You done
right.
broke it. You seriously ruptured the man code.
Yeah,
Broke
absolutely,
code, man
absolutely,
code, friendship,
bruh.
whole 9 yards. All of that's gone.
Whole 9 yards. That's the quickest way to end a friendship.
Straight up.
Did you
Straight up.
see the video of the church service where the dude rolls in and attacks the drummer?
Yes. Yeah.
Quickest way to break a friendship up is a woman.
Is a woman. Yes, sir. Yes, Lord. She done started more wars.
Right, right,
She
right.
done started more wars than countries. That is for sure. That is for sure. Because that's one thing we will get up off the couch for.
You got that right. You
Yeah.
got that right.
Yeah. Woo.
Number 4 is always keep your word. If you say you're gonna do it,
Do
then
it.
you're gonna do it.
That's
Do
right.
something.
That's
Just
right.
go do it. Be Nike. Just do it.
Do it. Let me get you
And,
your check mark. You know what I'm saying?
but see, this is one that as men, we
Mhm.
should be teaching younger
Young men.
men
Exact
this one.
same thing.
Keep
That's
your
right.
word.
Keep your word.
The
All you
one
got.
thing that you are more than anything else is your word.
That's
If
right.
you do what you say that you're going to do, I
Mhm.
had a thing with I went to go see a customer,
Yeah.
and he'd been having some problems and everything, and so I came in as the fixer, right?
Right.
All right. I like being that role, the fixer. So I come in there, I
Yeah.
smooth things over with the customer.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I fixed all of his problems that he had. I said, you know what, sir? I know you're closed over the weekend. I'm going to give it an extra day, but I'm going to come see you on Tuesday.
Right.
I want you to take a day to see how things go. I'm gonna come see you on Tuesday, and
Mhm.
then see how things are. If there's anything else needs to be fixed. I came back on Tuesday, walked in. He says, "You're a man of your word. I
Yeah.
like that."
Yep.
Earned
Business.
so many brownie points with him.
Yeah. It's just business, man. One
Yeah,
on one. And that's good business. That's man business. Keep
that's
your
right.
word. You know,
Right.
that's good all the way around. And you're right. We need to get in our youth's head about keeping your word and some of
Yeah.
these bro codes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man
This
codes.
one, this one is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Don't let your emotions control you. Don't bottle them up forever. But strength includes emotional intelligence. Now, this is one we need our guy Marcus. Marcus A.
Yeah.
Wright. Got
Yeah.
to remember the Marcus A. Wright. Don't be
That's right.
Marcus Wright,
Just
the
now,
porno
Marcus
writer.
Wright. Yeah. Exactly.
The exotic writer Marcus Wright. We got to be our
Marcus.
emotional
Hey.
intelligence coach
Yeah.
Marcus A. Wright. So we talk very much about emotions, but it's like
Mhm.
as you start filling a bottle, right?
Yeah.
You start pouring into your cup. Eventually, if you keep pouring, it's
It's
going
going to
to
overflow. Yep.
overflow, right?
Overflow. Yeah.
And so you can't you got to be able to let stuff out, right? You got to
Mm,
take a sip of that cup every now and then. Let some of it out before you start keep filling it up.
yeah.
So that way you don't let your emotions take over, right?
Hmm.
We just had the whole situation where the guy went on the rampage in Minnesota, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a 50-something-year-old man who's been
Mm,
plotting all this stuff out and had a whole list. He let his emotions and overcloud
dictate.
his good
Yeah.
judgment.
Yeah. But
You know?
when you become emotionally charged,
Mhm.
you gotta have a safe space,
Yes.
and that's another thing when we're dealing with men. There's not very many safe spaces for us to
Mhm.
unload that emotion,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
that's where it becomes that boiling point, and it becomes that
Mhm.
overflow. Is because we don't have a safe place. Because what are we taught? You don't tell everybody
Right.
about what's
Don't
going
tell
on
everybody your
inside.
business,
You
right?
don't tell everybody your business, because
Mhm.
the first thing that happens is that person tells somebody else.
Yeah.
Now you're known as this weak and emotional guy,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's ready to blow up, because now you got
Mhm.
something else to deal with. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we just have to make sure that, and when you have good friends and quality friends in your life,
Yeah.
you can have somebody that you can talk to and that's
Right.
trustworthy. But everybody is
Right.
not that person.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. This next one, stand up for yourself and others.
Mm,
You know, I think about when I was in Germany and I got
mhm,
my driver's license in Germany.
mhm.
They make you ride with a fire extinguisher in your car.
Yes, they do.
It is a crime that if somebody is in an accident,
And
that
you
if
don't
you do
stop.
not stop to help them, it is a crime.
It's a crime. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
I
it's
think
not
that's
only
I
just
think that's a
standing
good
up for
thing.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's helping others.
yeah,
That's what we're supposed to do. That
right.
we
Do you ever
humans.
watch that show? What would you do?
Oh, I watch it all the time with Tom
Yeah,
Youngest.
man.
Yeah.
Some of those situations because I've sat there and I've been on both sides where I'm like, mm, I'm gonna fall back on this one. I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Well,
other
because
times it's like, no, this is definitely not right. Let me
yeah.
hop in there because sometimes I don't know all the facts. So if
Right.
I don't know everything
Right.
that's supposed to be going on, I might fall back.
Mhm.
But if it's something where it's downright wrong,
Mhm.
yeah, hold up. Let
Yeah.
me let me
I
step
I
aside. Let me
I lean on caution,
yeah.
you know, because this is the
Especially
real world.
nowadays.
Nowadays,
Especially nowadays,
yeah,
man.
you now if I get a chance to pull somebody to the side and have a conversation with them, I definitely will do that. No,
Right.
I'm not afraid to speak to anyone. But
Yeah.
on
I
a lot of occasions nowadays, you got to be very, very, very careful at
yeah.
how you deal
I
with
watched this
situations and how you
video
approach.
where this guy he went and he attacked another guy, right? The,
Hmm.
the guy was walking away, minding his own business when the one guy attacked him, right?
Hmm.
And he had a weapon in his hand when he attacked him.
Hmm.
Six different people pulled out guns.
Mm,
That
mm.
could have been a very, very bad situation. So, that sits in the back of your mind when it comes to standing up for people these days, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You have to be very, very careful, and
Right,
observant. And you have to, and that's why now it's the video, I call it the video, you know,
right,
um the video era, because you really can't get involved because you don't know the level of involvement you're going to get into. Are you really willing to risk your life, you
hmm
know, to help somebody that you don't even know is wrong or right or good or bad?
right,
It doesn't matter, you
yeah,
know, because that's what it's boiling down to now, you know.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. This next one, respect for women.
oh, absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
one, it's something that you're taught, and it's something
Mhm.
that you should always teach young men.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, a lot of it's becoming harder and harder and harder these days, especially when it seems like more and more women don't respect themselves.
I was going to go there.
Right?
But
They
our,
don't,
our
or
culture,
not even respect themselves, but they don't respect men.
yeah,
Right?
that,
Uh,
yeah. But
because
our,
this is the Real Housewives era.
yeah, yeah, the
The hip
Palmer,
hop,
hip
whatever,
hop, yeah,
yeah,
Atlanta,
yeah.
LA, yeah.
There's no respect for men in any of these situations.
Mhm.
Basketball wives, rap
Yeah,
wives, whatever wives.
right.
You- there's no respect.
Yeah. And
Like I was watching a video, and it was K Michelle, right?
mhm,
And a lot of what she said, I just thought was like, okay, whatever. But she brought up the music industry, right?
mhm.
And said that if you did half of the things that you do in black music or hip hop music or in country music, you'd be shunned,
Yeah.
right? Because country music focuses a lot more on family. Yeah, there's some other songs, out
Yeah, of
there,
course. Of course. Mhm.
but for the most part, it's about family.
Mhm.
Whereas it's not talking about B's and H's and everything else along the board. And
Right.
we're ingraining this stuff into
Our children.
our children. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the culture, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say is a
This
lot of
one
this
I
is
think is
culture.
important for um I think it's more important for us is dress like you respect yourself. Like we've talked several times about I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm a throw on, an Adidas shirt, some Nike shorts, some Puma
Yeah.
shoes,
Yeah,
and
I
some
do.
polo socks, and might have on some brown with some blue and some red, and don't, you know, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Who gonna say
But
something to me? Yeah.
you know, but my wife, I can come downstairs, and as long as I'm in the house, or if I'm just going in the front yard to cut grass, my wife
Mhm.
ain't gonna say nothing. But if I'm grabbing my keys, she's like,
Where
hold
are
up,
you
player,
going?
where
Right.
you think you going, right?
Right.
Because she brings up the point, and we both talk about this, is when
Mhm.
she leaves the house, or when I leave the house, we're a representation of each
Of
other.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have to carry myself a certain way. She
Right.
has to carry herself a certain way. And I think a lot of people miss that point when it comes
Mhm.
to a relationship, is
Yeah.
that you are a representation of the other person. Not
Mhm.
only the other person, but if you have kids, you're a representation of your kids as
Absolutely.
well.
Your kids are
Because
representation of you,
yeah,
you
but
know?
they're
Yeah.
they're modeling themselves after what
Mhm.
you do.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm glad I don't raise none now, because
Right,
we be flip flopping and socking all the
right,
time. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Be honest even when it's hard.
That's hard.
This is one I've struggled with sometimes. And it's
I do.
not
I think every man struggles with it.
it, like I had a homeboy
Mhm.
that uh he was planning to marry a woman.
Mhm.
I met the woman.
Yeah.
My opinion, she's wrong for him. I did not
Okay.
tell him. I kept my mouth shut. Because he's like,
Mhm.
"What you think?" I kept my mouth shut. I'm like, "If you happy, I love it."
Yeah. You broke the
And
bro
that's
code.
that's that was the approach I took. Because if I sat there, if you would have sat there and said, you knew me and my wife before we
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got married, and if you'd have sat there and said, "Listen, Ross, bruh,
She ain't
she ain't
right
the right
for
one
you.
for you,"
Right.
I might have shook your hand and be like, "No, thanks, man." But no, I'm kidding.
But
But
you would have
it
still went and you would have went to see for yourself.
most likely so, but it would also probably impacted our friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely it would have. Because
Mhm.
now I can't be, you know how I really feel about your
Right,
lady,
right,
right? If I wouldn't have said nothing, you would have never known. But I
right.
said something to you, but see, that's the thing is we hold that against each other.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? Because that's such a bad thing that,
mhm.
we told the truth.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard.
yeah,
I think it's a
yeah.
situational thing, and it's not lying. It's just not being 100% open.
Yeah.
You know.
Here's one I think a lot of people need to understand.
Mhm.
Um, know your limits physically, emotionally, and financially.
Mhm.
See, so many times we put ourselves in holes and bigger holes because we want to flex.
Yep. Yep.
We don't need to flex.
I could
We
do
don't need to
this.
flex at all.
Yeah.
You don't need to brag. Because you need to let your actions be
Actions
your
speak louder.
representation,
Action.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to put a car that you can barely afford. Man, I was listening to people talking about some of their car payments where they
Yes.
were $1,000 a month for a car. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you serious?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it hurt my heart just to pay 500 for a car.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're from the old school when we remembered $250 car payments. And if you had
Yes,
a 300 and some dollar car payment at that time, you're like,
right,
ooh, that's too
right.
high, you know.
Yes,
And now these guys
yes,
out here, you see I know we probably talking about the same type of videos, but they're going around
yeah,
on the tickety tockety and they're
yeah.
asking people at the dealership how much the
Hmm.
car notes are.
Hmm.
$1,300, $1,500.
Yes,
I'm just like, whoa. But here's the thing. You got a 70, $80,000 vehicle,
yeah,
your car note is gonna be that unless you come with a stack.
right,
And that's what a lot of
right.
people are missing,
Bro,
you know.
I I am over the moon in love with the Cadillac IQ, the EV, the Escalade IQ.
That mug is absolutely gorgeous.
You know how much that joker run?
Yes, I test drove one.
$152,000.
Yeah. A regular Escalade is almost 100 by itself.
Bro, do you know what I could do with $152,000?
That sounds like 10 acres of land or something like that, 15 acres of
You
land.
right. You right. You are absolutely
and
right.
here's and
And
here's
with
the
and with change.
Yeah, and here's the thing is you got to pay for that thing over 6 years now, 7 years now. They gave you extra
Yeah, yeah, they do new terms now where you can do it over 8 years.
over 8 years because in Europe it's 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, but 8 years to pay for something like that. But you get 30 years to buy land.
right.
And if you use that same logic to buy that Cadillac, to buy 20 acres of
Yeah,
land, 15 acres of land,
yeah,
and you pay it off in 5 years, 6 years,
mhm,
5, 6 more years, you can buy another 20,
yeah,
$30,000,
right,
20, 30 acres, of land.
right,
Because that's the one thing that they ain't building no more of land.
yep,
But yeah,
yep,
I
you're right.
I seen it. We had to take the Tahoe in for some service. And I saw it and I asked the guy what that was. And then the wifey was Miss Les was all over that thing. She's in the back
Yeah,
seat. I'm like, didn't I tell you not to touch nothing? Don't you touch
right,
nothing.
right,
I'm saying, get
right.
out of there. You know, and she like this thing is nice. And then the guy gonna show how the door closed by itself.
Yeah, oh my God,
You
bruh,
know, I was like, man,
I
stop. You know,
I love it. I
yeah,
love that thing, and I
that
and I told him. My wife and I were just talking about it yesterday, and
Yeah,
I
it's
said,
beautiful.
I hope that we're in a position that
Mhm.
we don't have to buy another car for at least 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, because
You
that'll
know?
be the one you get.
Yes. Oh yeah. You got that right. You got that right. But 7 to 10 years, and if you game plan it, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. But you know what? Like you said, though, game planning is everything.
yeah,
Interest rates, down
right,
payments, all those things make a difference,
right,
in how you work the system,
right.
you know?
We're not taught finance the right way.
No, no.
And that's one of the things that we should be teaching. We
Mhm.
should be teaching our kids
Credit,
is
how to use
yeah,
your credit, how not to
yes,
use your credit. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Savings.
Yeah.
Everybody's, oh, it's saving, but there's a way to save. There is a way
Hmm.
to save. And if you
Yeah.
save properly,
Hmm.
you'll be okay.
You're right.
Invest properly. There is a way to do these things. We have just taken a long time to catch on
Right.
and pass on
Yeah.
these trade secrets.
Hmm.
You know, that's it. I heard a
Yeah.
guy say, something the other day on social media. He says, if we got 5 people live in a house, all 5 people want their own vehicles. All
Hmm.
5 people want their own house. All
Right.
5 people want a job. So why don't y'all, all 5 of y'all, get together, start your business,
Right.
buy one house because it was a family, mother, father,
Right.
3 children. Buy one house where all 5 live, you know, and
Hmm.
then your company buys 5 company vehicles. So,
Yep.
and self and do this for yourself where you don't need
Hmm.
the bank or this or that. You
Yep.
become your own bank, and
Yep.
that's what I'm working on. I'm working on becoming my own bank
Yeah.
because the rest of this stuff is craziness.
Yeah. You're right about that. You're right about that. But for the last time in season 5,
Yeah.
we gotta take this to our sponsor. You already know who it is. It's Manscaped. Fellas, let's talk about something that's very, very important. It's time to trim the hedges and tidy up the terrain because presentation matters. And the folks at Manscaped know exactly how to help you keep things clean, smooth, and frankly, a little bit heroic. Whether it's with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra with skin safe technology or the Crop Preserver deodorant for yes, down there, or that ridiculously fresh, refined cologne, Manscaped has turned men's grooming into an art form. No nicks, no snags, no excuses. And right now, because we here at the Manspace Podcast love you guys and your grooming habits, you can get 20% off plus free shipping when you use our code TMSP20 at manscaped.com. That's TMSP20 for 20% off and free shipping. And if it's free, I'll take 3. It's time to level up your grooming game and treat yourself like the legend you are. Get Manscaped because confidence starts below the belt. You're welcome. As we do each week, we like to close the show with a little bit of inspiration. Manspace Nation, the word of the day is confidence. Confidence is not about being perfect, it's about believing in your ability to face whatever comes your way. It's not something you're born with, it's something you build up, step by step, through your actions, through your mindset, through your perseverance. You see, every time you step out of your comfort zone, you're strengthening your confidence. Every time you refuse to let fear hold you back, you're showing the world and yourself what you are capable of. Remember, confidence doesn't mean that you'll always succeed, but it does mean that you'll always try. And trying is how you grow, how you learn, and how you unlock your true potential. So trust in yourself, embrace the journey, and take that next step forward. Until next time, Manspace Nation, you got this. Keep showing your confidence. Confidence is key.
It is. It's got me in a lot of open doors. Being confident, man. May not have been the smartest, but doors got opened up for me. Just being confident in myself.
I talked my way into a job just with confidence.
That's it.
I was not qualified for this job whatsoever. I'm not talking about the job I have now, but I mean,
let's hope not. I know that you're fully qualified for this one.
Yeah, but there was a job at one time that I was not qualified for.
Yeah,
but because of how confident I was,
I took a chance.
I made
yeah, man. Sometimes being confident is the difference between being confident and being cocky, right? Yeah. And understand that you can be confident and humble at the same time, but you can't be cocky and arrogant and try to just push your way into places.
Yep.
Don't work.
You're right about that.
Don't.
Manspace Nation, guess what next week is?
Whoop, whoop.
The season premiere of the Manspace Podcast, Season 6, next week.
Yes, sir.
And you can catch it 2 days early on WTMSTV.com. And next week, you know what's going to happen starting right after the Manspace Podcast at 8 o'clock on Monday. It's going to be round-the-clock episodes.
There it is.
The Manspace Podcast on WTMS TV all week long. Normally, programming starts at 8 o'clock p.m., but next week, just because of the launch of Season 6, round the clock, nothing but the Manspace. So just tune in, watch,
just enjoy,
and laugh. And yeah, you might even see some baby less pics and everything else.
You're going to be ready next week, y'all.
And on that note, Manspace Nation,
we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Manspace.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Manspace updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at ManspaceNat1.
Until next time, Manspace Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
of here.